Morning you guys, it's Karen, and I thought I would come and tell you about the Dog Lovers Show, show you a few things I bought at the Dog Lovers Show, and tell you about my new dog related venture. The Dog Lovers Show was amazing. I went to it last year. That was the first year. It's the first time I'd heard of it. I don't know whether it was new, but I absolutely loved it. I went on my own last year. This year I went with my best friend, and so we had a really nice day. It was so much fun. So many dogs, so many lovely dog products, and we both left there with a lot of treats and, you know, a lot of bags. I was interviewed by a behaviourist at the show, and I didn't know I was going to be. I was chatting to somebody on the stall, and she asked me if she could interview me, and I just said yes. When I watched the footage, honestly, I was like, oh my goodness, it was just such a bad angle, and I wish I'd have put like my hoodie on. I had my hoodie tied around my waist and a white t-shirt, and I feel like I just looked huge. My friend said my boobs looked huge, actually. I just think overall it was a really bad angle. It was just all round good fun. Like, I was stroking this bearded collie, scratching her head and talking to the people that were there about the coat and how difficult it was or not to deal with. And I sort of stopped for a minute, and she was like, you know, slapping me like, excuse me, come on. So it was just great fun. The first thing I bought that I absolutely adore is this. So it's a hoodie with a paw on it, and I bought one last year in pink, and I have worn it to death, and it still looks pretty good. This was only £20, so really inexpensive. It's not as thick as most hoodies, but I like that. And I really enjoyed wearing the other one, and it washed up so well, and on not one single of these little crystally things has come off. So I thought it would be perfect to have a black one. So really excited about that. Then I'll show you the sort of Lickimat related things. I've actually just taken this out of the dishwasher, so it's still got some water on it. But this is, I think this is called a slow-mo, but it's by the Lickimat people. So it's just a different type of Lickimat. So we used this last night when we were having dinner. I put a bit of peanut butter on here and a few bits in there to see what he thought of it, and he enjoyed it. And I think it's nice to just give the dog something different, you know, rather than the same old Lickimat every night. The second Lickimat thing is this. This is a bowl, a Lickimat bowl. So the lady was saying it should be more tricky for them to get hold of because it wobbles as they're trying to get hold of it. I've got a feeling that it won't be more difficult. I think Watson will just put his paw in like that and, you know, lick away. So I don't think it'll be more difficult, but like I said, it's nice to give them different things, although it might not seem that different because a Lickimat is like that but flat. It's just that little extra thing about it will get their brains working, you know, so I thought that was really cute. Everything else I bought is food, and I'm not even showing you every single thing because some of them are just repeats but in different flavours. But I bought these. This is pheasant jerky and goose jerky, just for something different because, you know, Watson has allergies, so he can't eat things with chicken in. He doesn't like beef. No, he does like beef, sorry, he doesn't like fish is what I meant to say. And so it can sometimes mean there's not many treat type things I can buy him that are different, but as these two are what they call novel proteins, he should be okay with both of those. And I know that he likes pheasant. Same thing with these, which these are rabbit, so they are 100% rabbit, and they're just fillets. It does slightly freak me out that they're rabbit, but he's not vegetarian. They were by Dr. Clauder. I can't remember who did these because it says on it Finer Nature, but I don't know whether that was the stall. I'll try and link as many of these as I can for you. These are the Dr. Clauder meat and fruit. I love Dr. Clauder products, just love them. And these are kiwi slices with meat wrapped around them. Now there may be a little bit of chicken in these. It probably is, but Watson can now, his colitis is really under control with the raw food, so we can now occasionally give him something with a little bit of chicken in it. Not like a meal, but a little treat like this. So we gave him one of these, and I was surprised that he ate it because it's kiwi. You can see that it's kiwi with meat wrapped around it, and I thought he might spit the kiwi bit out because Watson doesn't like any fruit or any vegetable. I've tried him on everything, and there's nothing he likes, but he happily ate that. These are atomic drops, ox liver and garlic, and I loved that because people are under the impression that dogs can't eat garlic and that it's poisonous for them, and they're the same with onions. These things are actually in dog food. If you look at a lot of kibble, you'll see that they have garlic in them. And so I know that garlic is actually quite good for dogs. It's all about the amount. You know, if they ate a whole bulb of garlic, then you would have a problem. But as you can see from this, they can eat garlic. And he absolutely loves these. And normally with liver, it comes in big chunks, whereas these are like little buttons. And so it's much easier to give a small amount of it, you know, rather than, like I said, they normally come in big pieces. So this is by Treats to Sit For. Okay, I don't think that's where I got it from, but like I said, I'll try and link as much as I can. The final ones were just these Dr. Clauder's training minis. I don't think you can buy these online, because the guy gave me his card and said, you know, when you run out, let me know, because I tried to buy more of these last year. They're just the perfect size. You can get them in beef, chicken, duck. These are beef. I've also got them in duck. I also bought them in chicken for my doggy clients that I'll tell you about in a moment. But they're just the perfect size for Find It, for training, all that kind of thing. So love those. The final treat thing is this. It is a Ziwi half venison shank. I've bought these before from Amazon and they just became too expensive to buy from there. And then they were unavailable. So I don't know whether they're still available now. I'll try and find it from somewhere that's not too expensive. But they're really good as a long-lasting kind of healthy treat, if you like. There's not many long-lasting treats that Watson likes, but he does really enjoy these, and they are really long-lasting. That's everything that I bought from the show. Like I said, there's probably a lot more treats. That's everything that I bought from the show. There's a lot more treats, but you get the idea. And yeah, like I said, it was amazing. I would totally recommend it. Put it in your diary for next year. It's in Glasgow. So, you know, myself and my friend met in Edinburgh and got the train through, but yeah, it was well worth it. So my little new venture. I have talked about having a second dog for kind of a year after we got Watson. I was like, should we get a second one? Because I thought it might have been company for Watson. And also because Watson's not really a cuddly dog at all. He's not affectionate. He doesn't like to be stroked. He likes being independent. You know, in the evening you can often find him in a different room from us. If you sit next to him, he'll move away. He gets too hot very, very quickly. And you can see from the videos of him welcoming us home if we've been away for the day that we've got a great relationship with him, but he just isn't an affectionate dog. And one of the reasons we had got a dog was for me to be able to just sit down and stroke a dog, and, you know, it would be a reason for me to stop and maybe reduce my blood pressure, that kind of thing. And he wasn't that type of dog. So we talked about getting a second dog. But with Watson, he's had so many illnesses, as you know. He's had cancer, he's had the Campylobacter poisoning, he's had hip problems, he's had colitis problems, he's had allergy problems, and we've spent probably the last 4.5 years going to vets and specialists and researching it, you know, and so it's never really been the right time to have a second dog. And it's also going to be very expensive because we do send him to daycare for various reasons, mostly my health and the fact that I need to work. So I did my grooming business, which I absolutely adored. I loved being with the dogs, but that didn't work out because, again, of my joints. I did dog photography, but there's not a huge call for dog photography. A lot of the work I do and have done has been for companies on like collars and harnesses and things that I can put on Watson and take a picture of. And I'm always looking at the job alerts that come through, you know, for different dog related jobs. And I went for an interview, you may remember, for receptionist at a vet. But I came away and we actually knew the guy who was interviewing me because he was Watson's skin specialist that we'd seen. He was the dermatologist. And I phoned him up after the interview and had a chat with him, and he was like, you know, we would offer you the job, but I worry that you couldn't cope with it emotionally. And he's right. And I said to him, you know what, I agree. And so it's probably best that it's not going to happen. I just thought, you know, all the people coming into a vet's office, the animals have something wrong with them and that's going to really bother me, and then they put dogs down and blah blah blah, and I was like, no, I don't think I can cope with that. Then I thought about working in a shelter, but a lot of the shelter jobs that have come up have been very, very physical, and you have to have really good joints and be able to bend down and clean the kennels, etc. So that's never worked. I thought about fostering. I looked into fostering and was really about to fill in this form for this particular company and say, yes, you know, I'd love to foster. But Watson is quite fussy about who he plays with, certainly outside. He's not aggressive in any way. He just ignores dogs that he's not interested in. But I I think the dogs that we've had over in the house, there's some that he'll just completely ignore, and they tend to be the really older ones. But then there's young dogs that just seem to bother him, and he'll be very barky, and it just could be a really stressful situation for another dog. And if you're fostering a dog, then they've already had some kind of upheaval in their life, and I don't think it would be right. I don't think it would be right for Watson, and I don't think it would be right for the other dog. So I was out walking Watson one day and bumped into a puppy, and I had seen this puppy before, and I was chatting to the lady thinking, oh, she doesn't look like the lady that I met the other day with her. And she told me she was just doing a puppy visit. And I said, oh, how amazing, you know, to be visiting puppies. And she explained to me that actually it's not the greatest for the business of a walker. For somebody that is walking dogs, they could be walking 4 or 5 dogs for an hour, but with a puppy visit, you're just visiting that puppy, and so you're making a fifth of the income you potentially could. And that kind of got me thinking, and I thought I could probably do puppy visits. I could visit elderly dogs that didn't need a massive walk, you know, that just needed a local walk, and I could visit patients that are on crate rest, because what I have got a lot of knowledge on is enrichment games. And I've also had a really big interest in training. You guys know how much I've trained Watson, and I've done a course on training and psychology. I'm doing another 2-day practical course on my holidays. And so I thought that might be a really interesting area for me to go into. And thankfully, I'm not looking to earn a full-time income. You know, it's not about the money for me, because like I said, we were looking at fostering. It's just about having more dogs in my life, and if I can make a difference to dogs, that would be an absolute bonus. It means I can only have, you know, 2 or 3 clients at any one time, but it just sounded perfect to me. So I started getting together all my bits and pieces, you know, and thinking about it. And I thought I would tell my walker, the lady that walks my dog, because I thought it was only fair, being as it was sort of the same business. But she was delighted. She's lovely. She was delighted and said it can work for both of us, because if I take on a puppy, I can then, when it's ready to go for big group walks, I can hand it over to her. Because, you know, even with group walking, I wouldn't want to walk more than 1 dog anyway, or more than 2 dogs. I have walked 2 dogs many, many times, and I'm an anxious wreck, like, you know, constantly counting 1, 2, 1, 2, you know, scared I'm going to lose them. What if something happens to one? What am I going to do with the other? It's just not my cup of tea. So, yeah, I could hand them over. So that was fine. I was going to start in October after my holidays. Thought it made sense to start then. But I actually got a text from my walker saying that there was a dog that was unable to go on group walks, but that had been the plan for this rescue dog, because it was terrified of other dogs, and it needed a single walk, and possibly not even that, because it was very scared of a lot of things. And the fact that this dog was on its own all day just pulled at my heartstrings, and I was like, there's no way I'm going to say no, because she was like, they need somebody to start next week. So that was 2 weeks ago, and it meant that I had to have a mad rush to get my insurance. You know, you need to make sure you've got liability insurance. What else did I have to do? I had to get a permit from the council to be a walker, and, you know, just set up all my forms and things like that. So it was a bit of a mad rush, but I met the dog on a couple of days after that, and she's absolutely adorable. And then I've been working with her for the last 2 weeks. We've not been going for walks because she's doesn't like strangers in her house, and especially anywhere near her bed, so there's no way I can hook her on, and that's been a real big learning curve for me, but an amazing learning curve. I mean, I feel honoured that I'm able to do that, because they could easily say, what they need is a behaviourist, and that's what they're going to do, and she's not getting a walk, and my services really are as a walker. I'm not a professional behaviourist, etc., but I feel like I've got enough knowledge, and especially now, because at the Dog Lover show, do you remember I said I was interviewed by a behaviourist? I said to her, yes, absolutely, you can interview me, but I want to grab 5 minutes of your time afterwards to talk about this dog that I'm visiting. And she's given me loads of advice, and also another friend of mine who is also a behaviourist has given me some advice. And so I've got a new plan for this week going forward, and I'm really excited. So I visit her every lunchtime, Tuesday to Friday. And then I haven't done any advertising at all, because like I said, I thought I was going to start in October. I got 2 other offers for rescue dogs via my walker. and one other source. And I turned them down because I said, let me just do one dog and see how I get on. You know, that was always my intention, to start slow, because I don't want to start with any client and then let them down. You know, I want to make sure that I can manage it, that my health is okay with it all, and you know. But somehow I spoke to one of the local dog owners that, you know, we've got a Facebook group in the area that I live where we all chat to each other, and had mentioned to one of them about the fact that I was doing this a little bit of home visiting, if you like. I would really love to visit dogs and do enrichment games with them and just, you know, improve their life, if you like, and give them some fun, and I think that would just be lovely. So long story short, I have another client, which is a puppy. He's a little lab puppy. He's absolutely adorable. And so I'll be going to visit him, and he lives in my block. So it could not be better. I won't even have to put shoes on to go up to him. Well, I will actually, because I need to take him out for a little business walk, but they want him just to go out for a really short walk and then to have, you know, either training or enrichment games. And so I've agreed to that one because it makes sense, you know, that it's so close. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. It may mean that YouTube will reduce a little, i.e. I'll have to do maybe 1 instead of 2 videos on my beauty channel. I don't have a schedule for this channel, but also my health channel, I may not do videos as often. But it's something I'm really excited about. You know, I feel like I may have finally found my purpose in life, which is to help dogs, you know, and I've kind of known that for a few years, but just not sure, hadn't worked out how I could help them, because initially it was with the grooming, you know, and it was so that I could help people to help dogs that were scared of groomers and help them have an enjoyable experience rather than it being something they didn't enjoy. You know, I'd have breaks and play ball with them in the garden, etc., and help nervous dogs. But I feel like mostly I've just been helping Watson, and Watson has got an amazing life, but I want to kind of spread that out to more dogs. And with this rescue dog, it's really made me think, should it be training that I'm looking at rather than home visits? But I don't know, that's a bit up in the air. I'll just enjoy the experience and see how I go. And after this two-day training course, the purpose of it is that you could then run puppy classes. And of course we took Watson to puppy classes. And so that's another avenue that I could possibly explore. I don't think I'd go straight on and run a puppy class. I'd probably want to go back to puppy class as a volunteer and, you know, experience a lot myself before running my own. But in theory you can. I suppose it depends on what other experience you have. So yeah, I thought I'd share that with you. Like I said, a few little bits that I bought from the Dog Lovers show. Hello to the lady that I met very briefly on the way out. Somebody said she asked me if I was Watson's mum and that she watches these videos, and it was so nice to meet somebody, and she said that she uses some of the enrichment games I show on here with her dog, and it just made me so happy, so happy, because, you know, that's somewhere else I feel like I can help with this channel, giving ideas of how you can really enrich your dog's life and make them happy, you know, not just the normal, I go for a walk a day and then I sleep, but a bit extra, you know. So that's everything. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will speak to you again soon.